Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Nancy and you're watching Nancy Does Vlogs. Today I've decided to do a middle school advice vlog because I've been through it in middle school and I don't want you to be through it. And this is more like a 8th grade advice, but like if any middle schooler could take this advice, I think it would work for anyone. So I got my notes here, so let me just look at those. I'm also gonna be doing my skincare because just something to do while I talk. Okay, so the first section is gonna be friends. And me personally, I had a lot of trouble with friends. I still kind of do. Like I had a really hard time trying to find out like who's a fake friend and like who's like actually my friend. Like it's like it was really hard for me to tell. So I'm gonna try and explain it the best I can to you guys. So first one is how to make friends. So I would say in 8th grade, like most people probably have like a set friend group, and if you don't, or if you're like new there, I would say try to get a friend group as soon as possible so that you guys can go to high school together and like not crumble under like social anxiety or whatever. Because like me, I don't really have like a best friend or like a friend group going into high school right now, so I wish like I focused on building my relationships more. How to make friends, I'd say just talk to, like if you see someone and they're like wearing an outfit that you like, just be like, oh my gosh, like I like your outfit. Or you could just compliment them on something, and then they'll be like, oh thank you. And then you'll be like, oh, where'd you get it from? You have such good style. I've been trying to find a style like yours. Like just like make conversation, and that's a good way to talk to them. Or like if you're in a class, you could like ask them like for help on something, even if like you don't really need help, just like ask them. That's how I got some of my new friends that I made. I was just like, oh, do you know what this is? Like, oh, or like if the teacher puts you like in a group, like just talk. Don't like not say anything, just like talk to them. So yeah. And then I would say how to deal with fake friends. I would say the biggest thing is to confront them. Like if you think they're like being mean or talking about you behind your back, just like confront them. And you don't have to be like mean about it. You don't have to be like, hey, were you saying this about me, like this. No, you can just be chill about it. You're like, hey, I heard some rumors that you were talking about me. I wanted to come to you because most times rumors aren't true. Like, is it true? And then if they say no, just believe them. Like you can still be like more like cautious around them if you don't really believe them, but like don't like be like, I don't believe you, because most of the time the rumor's not true. At least my experience. Just confront them and do it like carefully, gently, probably one-on-one. You don't want to do it like in front of the whole class or like the lunchroom or whatever. Just like one-on-one. Maybe you could even text them. Let's say how to keep bonds. I would say the biggest thing is just talking. Like if like I had a lot of friends going into my 8th grade year, but then we didn't have classes together, and then we just stopped talking. Like we didn't talk outside of class, or we didn't hang out, and we didn't go to games together. So that's something that you should do with your friends, is just go to games. Even if you go to games, talk to them. If you see them in the hallway, say hi, give them a hug. There's this one guy, I did not have any classes with him at all for like, I think 7th grade I might have had a class with him, but 8th grade I did not. So yeah, we would literally just talk in the hallway, be like, hey, how are you? And then we also did the musical together, so that was something fun. Like you could do a sport with one of your friends, and that, like I did track in 7th grade, and that made me a lot of the friends that I have right now. So I think a sport is also a good way to make friends, or keep them. Like just do stuff with your friends. The next topic is gonna be toner. The next topic is going to be schoolwork. And I think in 8th grade, schoolwork is really important. Even though it doesn't really count on like your transcript for like college or whatever, I think it's really good to create a work ethic while you still can. Like I'm not saying that you can't in high school, but like it would be way harder because you have a lot more workload and a lot more things to worry about. I would say in 8th grade, just make sure you do your work. If your teacher gives you in-class time to do your work, do it then, because you can always talk to your friends after. Or like if you want to talk to your friends, just make sure you're working while you're talking to them, because there were so many instances where I was just talking, then the bell would ring and be like, oh, I didn't even finish one sentence of this thing, and I would always turn in my work late, and it was not good. And one thing I really struggled with is procrastination. So I'd say how to deal with it is just, as I was saying, as soon as you get your work, just do it right then and there, so then that way you have time at home or later in the day to do whatever you want and hang out with your friends and stuff. I would say if you don't have good grades but you try your hardest and like you don't know what's going on, I would say one thing is to ask your teacher how you can get your grade up, or if you have a question, ask them, because that's one of the biggest things, is like you have a question but you don't ask about it. So I would say just really ask your teacher or ask your peers for help if your teacher's not available. Another good thing is like Khan Academy, or like math websites, or not math websites, but like websites for any school subject, but Khan Academy I think is mostly for math. But yeah, you could also watch like a YouTube video. I don't know any good channels because I didn't really watch YouTube videos because I always ask my teacher. But if you can't ask your teacher, or if you're like scared to, which you should not be scared to because everyone needs help, I say ask your teacher, or like some YouTube videos, or like a Google search. I wouldn't say like use like Photomath and stuff, because like that's kind of cheating, and like you're not really gonna know what to do when you have a test or something. So yeah, I would say just like really try, like you're gonna have to try extra hard if you don't have good grades but you're trying really hard. You're just gonna have to keep pushing and like don't give up. The next topic is gonna be about crushes, and me personally, I've had a lot of experience with crushes, not a lot of experience with dating, because I'm not the favorable type at school. I say crushes, I don't think you should date in middle school. I know a lot of people who did, but I don't know, just you're not gonna find your husband in middle school, so most likely you're not going to. I wanted to have a middle school sweetheart really bad, but then with the boys in my school and me, it was just not gonna happen. So yeah, I would say don't date in middle school. Like if you have a crush, like just don't like go into it thinking you're gonna end up dating them, because you probably won't. Don't tell too many people your crush. Like you can like joke about it with like your friends and stuff, but like don't go telling like the whole school, because it's probably just gonna end up bad for you and the person that you're crushing on. Cause I don't know, my school, it's really embarrassing because I had this one crush on this guy, and then after, literally to this day, people are always like, oh, remember when you used to like this guy? Like, and it's not even like he was like ugly or whatever, but I don't think people should be calling other people that. But like he wasn't like, he's good looking, like he still is. Like people just try to make fun of you for it when it's like everybody has crushes, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I would say don't go telling everyone your crush. Just like keep it between your close friends who you know are not gonna tell the whole world. My last tip is to not be delusional. Like I said, you're probably not gonna end up dating them, and like don't like walk around thinking that everybody like has a crush on you. You can like be confident. You can be confident, but don't be cocky. Especially when it comes to crushes and stuff. Don't be like, oh, he probably wants me. Like, don't be like that, because you probably don't. These tips are just like, they're not really in like a category, but like I really wanted to mention them. So I would say be nice to your teachers. Too many times I've seen like people being really mean to teachers when they're just trying to do your job and they're trying to help you. Although I did have like a few rude teachers in 8th grade, but like I tried my best not to like disrespect them. Yeah, don't be like super rude to your teachers. And I would say another thing I'd say, especially if like you want to make friends, is go to games and go try out for sports and go to games. Even if you don't make the team, just like the tryouts and like talking with them, like, oh, I don't know if I could do this, or just talking. Like I made a couple of friends during tryouts as well. Like I tried out for volleyball and basketball, and I didn't make it because I'm not the greatest at sports, but I tried out and it was a really good experience, even though I didn't make the team. And also go to games, like it's super fun if you go with your friends. I would say don't go by yourself, like, because you're probably not gonna have anyone to sit with unless like someone you kind of know lets you sit with them. I would say like go with your friends, like don't go alone. But yeah, it's a really fun experience, and you get to like just have fun at your school and show school spirit. And speaking of showing school spirit, when there's like spirit days and stuff, don't act like you're too cool to do it, because you're not. Plus it's also just a super fun way to show pride in your school, and it's your last year before you leave. Another thing I would say is in class, pay attention. I don't know why I thought I was a senior and never gonna have to worry about school again, because like I did not do my schoolwork like at all, and it was actually really bad. And we had so much work up until the very last day. Literally, tell me why I had to freaking do an essay on the last day of school. I would say just pay attention in class and like try not to have 8th grade-itis, because you still got 4 more years. Another thing I would say, in my middle school, we weren't allowed to carry our backpacks around, so I would say not to bring too much stuff in your backpack or just like in your hand. Like for me, I brought, well, my pencil case got stolen, but I used to bring like this huge pencil case. But after it got stolen, I brought a notebook, a folder. I had one folder for all my class, my notebook, a folder, a pencil, my computer, and my charger. Sometimes I didn't bring my charger, I just borrowed someone else's. So try not to carry too much stuff, because you are definitely going to be late in the hallways, and that's not something you want to be. Which brings me to my next tip, is to be on time. You don't want to be late to class, especially because you're probably going to get a detention if you're late too many times. That was me. I got a bunch of lunch detentions, which don't really count, and I did get one actual detention, but then I told him to switch it to a lunch detention, and then he did, so it didn't really count. But yeah, try to get to class on time, and try not to talk with your friends in the hallway too much, because the teachers are probably going to yell at you for running and make you go to the principal's office to get a pass anyway. I would talk to my friends for like 30 seconds or a minute. We have 4-minute passing periods in middle school. So I talked to my friends for 30 seconds to a minute after I went to my locker, and then I'd sprint to class. Literally, my schedule was so crazy. I had a class at the very end of the hallway, then on the very other end of the hallway, then all the way at the then all the way downstairs to the end of like the school, and then all the way back to the other side of the downstairs area, then all the way back to the other side again, but the very end of the school, then all the way back upstairs. I don't even know how I did it, but that's probably why I got tardy a bunch of times. Try your best, and if your schedule is like not working for you to be on time, you can ask them to change it, because a lot of people switched out of classes in the second semester of our school year. So I think you could ask your teachers or secretary if you could do that. And my last tip is to try new things. Middle school is like your last chance to really find who you are before you have a bunch of other people telling you who you are. You just really take the time to find yourself. Focus on your grades, don't focus on guys. Try to make as many friends as you can. To deal with like people who are mean and like bullies. I would say just ignore them. A lot of them are just silly mine were silly middle school boys who have no idea what they're talking about and who don't have home training. So, you know, there's nothing you can really do or say to phase them. At least that's how my experience was. But I should just ignore them and don't entertain it. Like, don't talk back to them, because then they're gonna be like, ooh. And you don't want that. And you don't want to end up losing the argument. Speaking of arguments, don't get into fights. There's nothing is that serious in middle school for you to be throwing punches. I think that's it, you guys. If you have any specific questions, you could let me know and I'll try to answer them for you. But I hope you guys have a good 8th grade, 7th grade, or 6th grade year. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please don't forget to give it a like so YouTube can recommend it to other people who might find it helpful. And if you want to see more of me and the stuff I do, you can hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell so you get notified every time I post a new video. And yeah, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.